Look, let's just bug out and call it even, okay? What are we talking about this for?
I say we take off and nuke the entire site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
Welcome once again, my fellow manipulators of digital fate. I'm Richie, this is Capricorn. Today's deck is a submission by none other than community fan favorite YUKFOOZi. That's right, this is a YUKFOOZi. Shout out to Wednesday, we love you. Before we talk about the deck, I would like to give a shout out to my patrons over at patreon.com/quarantinecapricorn. That includes none other than YUKFOOZi himself, along with Squirrel and Kalen at the Brew Crew Elite tier, and then Marlack at the Brew Crew tier, and then our forever CPU savior, Terrence Urabrask. Thank you guys for all of your contributions. It means the world. Now, Foozi's deck here, which we deck teched out and iterated on and turned into an absolute beast, is called NUKEFOOZi. And the idea here is we're taking multiple different Grixis combos, and we're smashing them together in the same deck in a way where they're utilizing different cards that can fit into each combo and sort of overlap, so that at any given time our opponent doesn't really know which combo we're necessarily going for, and we have a lot more options for just winning the game outright via multiple different iterations of different combos. It's kind of wild, but it revolves around specifically the Ancient One and Ob Nixilis, along with comboing with Hidetsugu and Kairi. Those two different combos. I'll show you guys when we break down the deck, but it's pretty wild. Foozi came up with the idea of trying to include both of these combos in the same deck, and I think we made something pretty crazy out of it. So before we break down the deck, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. All that stuff helps the channel get out to more people. I want to be a real channel, guys, and we're becoming a real what is a real channel? What is a real channel? I don't know, but we're going to find out. Anyways, catch me live Monday through Friday over on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/quarantinecapricorn. Because if I'm alive and I'm breathing, I'm there and I'm streaming. Let's check this out. Check this out? Let's check this out. Alright, so NUKEFOOZi. Shout out to Wednesday, because her dad is out of his mind when it comes to deck ideas. But we did the thing, and we actually made it work, and we got a ton of wins. So let's talk about the deck. Let's break it down. The core of the deck, now obviously it's multiple combos layered on top of each other, so there's a lot to take in. But the core combo, the one that we're trying to curve out with to start, is the Ancient One and Ob Nixilis. Now, you've probably seen some other content creators do this combo, but if you haven't, here's how it works. Ancient One comes down as a 2-drop on turn 2. It's an 8/8. It can't attack or block until you have at least 8 cards in your graveyard, specifically permanent cards in your graveyard. But it's still an 8/8 for 2 mana. So the idea here is then on turn 3 we play Ob Nixilis. We can sacrifice it to the casualty of Ob Nixilis, and the copy of Ob Nixilis comes in with 8 loyalty and can immediately ultimate. Now we can either use that ultimate to have ourselves draw 7 cards on turn 3, which is usually early enough in the game that we can take the hit of 7 life, and then have so much card advantage that we can just steamroll our opponent from that point forward. Or we can target it at the opponent's head, do 7 damage straight to them, but why stop at 7? We can go even further, because we can jam Sheoldred before we ultimate, and now every card that they draw, they're also going to be losing 2 life from drawing the card. So when we ultimate Ob Nixilis, they draw 7, lose 7, and those 7 cards they draw make them lose 14. So all in all, they take 21 points of damage, or lose 21 points of life, if a Sheoldred's on the play on the field when we do it. So that's kind of the combo. We don't always need the Sheoldred in order to pull it off, but the Sheoldred guarantees that it's a one-hit kill unless they've got a bunch of life gain in the deck. In addition to Sheoldred, we have 3 Beseech the Mirror to find the Sheoldred or to find any of our other combo pieces, and this necessitates having enchantments, artifacts, or tokens that we can bargain away to the Beseech to make sure that we get to play the Sheoldred for free if that's what we fetch. But we can also fetch, our other combo pieces as well, which is what makes Beseech so good. And sometimes we just want to hardcast this without bargaining it, just to find the thing we need to set up the combo win for the next turn. And that's fine too. But we do want to try to set up the ability to bargain this as consistently as possible. So a lot of what we're playing before turn 4 gives us the ability to do that. It's also worth noting that since we're running 4 copies of Ob Nixilis, we can easily just play this as a normal Ob Nixilis on turn 3 if we need to, so that we can make devil tokens, so that on turn 4 we can sack a devil token to Beseech the Mirror to find pieces that we're missing. We've also got 2 Cruelty of Gix in the 5-drop slot for a similar reason. Chapter 2 lets us search for anything we need, and a lot of times we can play this and start on Chapter 1 so that when Chapter 2 hits the next turn, we have all of our mana untapped and available to us. So a lot of times what we can do with Cruelty of Gix is, if we've already got an Ancient One or Ob Nixilis in our hand and we just need the other piece, we can actually play Cruelty of Gix on Chapter 1, knowing that on Chapter 2 we have our 5 mana available, we find whichever piece we're missing, and then we play Ancient One into Ob Nixilis both in the same turn. And we can use that to win outright as well. But we're also trying to include another combo, which is Hidetsugu and Kairi, along with Explosive Singularity. So the idea here is Hidetsugu and Kairi comes in as a 5/4 flyer for 5. It brainstorms us as soon as it hits the battlefield, sets up the top of our library, the next 2 cards, to be whatever we want. If Hidetsugu and Kairi dies, we get to exile the top card of our library. Our opponent loses life equal to the cost of that card, and then if it's an instant or sorcery card, we get to actually play it for free. So not only do we have the Ancient One, Ob Nixilis, Sheoldred combo going on, but we have this combo with Hidetsugu and Kairi where if we can just brainstorm, put Explosive Singularity back on top, and then find a way to sacrifice the Hidetsugu and Kairi, or it just dies in combat or dies to our opponent's removal or whatever, then we get to play the Explosive Singularity for free, as well as having them lose 10 life because the Explosive Singularity costs 10, which ultimately means we just do 20 damage to their head. So we also have that combo baked in, and then we have ways of sacrificing Hidetsugu and Kairi. I mean, we've already got Ob Nixilis, which we can casualty to sack the Hidetsugu and Kairi as a way to sack it. And there's some more stuff as well. But before we talk about we'll start at the bottom of the curve and we'll talk about the ways to sacrifice Hidetsugu and Kairi. I just want to point out we also have 2 copies of Breach the Multiverse in here. This is another really good hit off of a Hidetsugu and Kairi. But it's also just a lot of value. So if we make it to the late game, sometimes we could just win the game by casting Breach the Multiverse. But it's also another option for us to set up a scenario where when Hidetsugu and Kairi dies, we're able to get maximum value. So let's talk about the bottom of the curve now. 1-drop slot, we have Voldaren Epicure. Now this performs a lot of functions. We need enough cards in the deck that can be sacrificed to a turn 3 Ob Nixilis in order to get 2 Ob Nixilises. Even if it's not part of the combo, being able to cast Ob Nixilis on 3 consistently and get both copies and use those copies to stall out the game until we can get the rest of our combos going is sometimes crucial. The life gain we can get off Ob Nixilis can help us stave off dying to aggro. It's just really, really important. So, Epicure gives us a body for Ob Nixilis, but it also gives us an artifact token that we can sacrifice to Beseech the Mirror. So, it's important that turn 2 and turn 3, or turn 1 to a certain extent, gives us either creatures we can sack to the Ob Nixilis on turn 3, or something that we can bargain to Beseech the Mirror on turn 4. So a lot of our early game is setting those up while also playing cards that are prolonging the game, are helping us survive against aggro, are helping us contend with our opponent's beat for beat plays to keep pace with them. So Epicure on 1, if we don't have a tap land on 1, is really good to set that up. And then we have an alternate use of the blood token just being good to dig deeper into our deck and find the next card we might need. Get one card closer to the next card we might need. So Epicure does a lot. It can also be used to just sort of chump block if we just need to block something and survive an extra turn. So a lot of multiple uses baked in there. We've also got 2 Callous Sell-Sword, because this is another thing that can come down on turn 2 to facilitate a turn 3 Ob Nixilis. But, unlike Epicure, it also comes attached with a win condition, Burn Together. For 1 red mana, target creature deals damage equal to its power to any other target, and then we have to sacrifice it. So having something that can fill that 2-drop slot, that can be sacked to Ob Nixilis, while also being something that, if we top deck it later in the game, could be an alternate win condition, because it allows us to fling our 8/8 Ancient One at our opponent's face and close out a game if we have them to 8 or less life, is super good. So 2 Callous Sell-Swords. We've also got 1 Saheeli the Sun's Brilliance. This card is nuts, comes down as a 2/2, and then for 2 mana and tapping it, we can create a token that's a copy of any other creature or artifact we control. It gains haste, but we have to sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. So this is basically the backside of Fable of the Mirror Breaker, except it only costs 2 to get out instead of 3. And we don't have to wait a few turns for it to come online. Just 1 turn cycle, it loses Summoning Sickness, and we're ready to rock. Being able to make copies of certain creatures with this is very, very good. Being able to make a copy of the Ancient One that we can then sack the copy can be really, really good. And there's some other cards too that we'll talk about in a minute. But we've also got 4 Virtue of Persistence. This card is key in the deck because this is something we can use as early removal to help us survive against aggro, kill something with up to 3 toughness, and also gain 2 life. Super important. But it also doubles as a 7-drop. So with Hidetsugu and Kairi, we can put this back on the top of the library, and even though it's not an instant sorcery, so we're not going to be able to cast it for free off the Hidetsugu and Kairi, we are still going to get our opponent to have to lose 7 life because it's a 7-drop. So there is an extra layer of value baked into this being our removal of choice on turn 2. So 4 copies of this, absolutely necessary. Moving on to the 3-drop slot, we've already talked about the 4 Ob Nixilises, which are crucial to curve out with to help us deal with aggro and to help us keep pace even with a deck that's not aggro, and then doubles as a combo win condition later in the game. But we've also got 1 Kaito Shizuki because it's another thing that can give us a bunch of value and more importantly can create a token that can be sacked to an Ob Nixilis later or can be sacked to a Beseech the Mirror the very next turn. And that's super important. So one of these, we never have to worry about having one stuck in our hand because of the legend rule. And it's, like I said, it's something that can help generate those tokens to help facilitate some of the other cards in our deck, while also being generally a good card on its own, if we don't have things to combo with. So it's good as a one-of, I think. In a similar fashion, we have 1 Urabrask's Forge, because this is an artifact that it can be sacrificed if we need it to bargain, to Beseech the Mirror, but normally it's just going to make a creature token every turn that's going to get bigger and bigger. We can sacrifice that creature token to either Ob Nixilis or Beseech the Mirror to do the damn thing, and if we wait until eventually this is making a 7 power or more creature, and sack it to an Ob Nixilis then, that's another way for us to immediately have a copy of Ob Nixilis that can ult and win the game without even needing the Ancient One. And we have a little extra value in some of our alternate win conditions. For example, the Burn Together with Callous Sell-Sword can sometimes just fling a really big Urabrask Forge token at our opponent's head and win the game that way. So we have this extra silver lining value kind of baked in to Urabrask's Forge here, where there's a lot of different ways the deck can use it. So I think it absolutely deserves a spot, although I will say going more than 1 I don't recommend, because if you ever have a game where you're trying to curve out and survive against aggro and you're stuck with a second copy of this in your hand, it's kind of redundant and you're probably going to die before you can really utilize it. So I think the 1 copy is really good, but you never want to chance having 2 copies in your hand during the first 3, 4, 5 turns of the game, because that could make the difference in you surviving or not. So I think just 1 copy is right. And then we've also got 2 copies of Thrillseeker. This is a card that I'd actually like to see more of in the deck, but it's really hard to find room. Being able to turn all of our big creatures into bigger creatures that can sack to do damage to anything they want is another way to have alternate win conditions on a lot of the stuff that we're already playing that we've talked about, whether it be the Forge token or the Ancient One itself or some of the other stuff like Hidetsugu and Kairi. We can turn this into a 7/6, sack it for 7 damage, or sack it to an Ob Nixilis to ultimate the Ob Nixilis. There's a whole lot we can do with it, but this is also the key card, the best card to use in conjunction with Saheeli the Sun's Brilliance, because we can keep making copies of the Thrillseeker every turn, but putting the backup 2 counters on something else. So we can keep having that value left behind, even though the creature itself has to die. And then we can also just sacrifice the token that we make to do a damage to whatever we want, even if we put the backup counters on whatever. So we can create this value over the course of the game, and through a couple activations, we can actually make even our smallest creatures get to that 7 power point we need to ultimate an Ob Nixilis if we sack it to an Ob Nixilis to make the copy. So being able to make copies of Thrillseeker is awesome, but I mean, Saheeli's gonna do a lot of work on a lot of the creatures in this. So I mean, even just copying like a Hidetsugu and Kairi can be pretty nuts, or copying the Ancient One. Moving on to our 4-drop slot, we've already talked about how we've got 2 copies of Sheoldred here because it helps turn our combo into an absolutely over-the-top, turned up to 11 Busto version of the combo, and then 3 Beseech the Mirror to find Sheoldred if we need it, or to find other things if that's what we need. But we're also running 1 copy of Kaito because he just kind of does everything we want. Not only can he potentially draw 2 cards a turn if we have a creature to return every turn, but he can make us creature tokens that we can sacrifice to our Ob Nixilis or Beseech the Mirror. And he can uptick to prevent our opponent from attacking or blocking with things, which can somehow be enough sometimes to just get us the win outright. But its static ability is where it really shines in a deck like this, because it gives us the ability to not only use its loyalty abilities twice a turn, but more important than that, there are extra ways that we can get value off of returning creatures to our hand, which we can do with the static ability. So for example, if we played a Callous Sell-Sword early to come up the board, we can now swing with the Sell-Sword, return it to our hand with the Kaito, and then use the Burn Together, the adventure side, to maybe win the game that way by using it as a win condition to throw an Ancient One at their face, or to throw a Forge token at their face, or whatever. We can return a Thrillseeker to our hand so that we can replay it and re-trigger the backup and sometimes win that way. Even just returning an Epicure to our hand so that we can recast it and get another blood token and get another ping is a little bit of extra value that's nice to be able to have the opportunity to do sometimes. So I think Kaito's uptick, or not his uptick, but his static ability rather, is really what puts him over the top as being a choice card for this deck, alongside all of the loyalty abilities that are going to just make him good in general. We're also running 1 copy of the Apprentice's Folly. This is a deep cut. This is some tech that I thought of at the last minute, and I think it's really, really cool because at its base, the Apprentice's Folly is going to make us 2 copies of whatever we want, and they don't count as legendary. So even just making a copy of a Sheoldred and then another copy of the Sheoldred sometimes is enough to win the game. 3 Sheoldreds on the board means whenever they draw a card, they're going to lose 6 life. So that could just be enough to win the game by itself by the time the Apprentice's Folly goes away, or before it goes away. But there's a ton of ways that this can actually combo. We can make copies of the Ancient One and sack the copies so that we don't have to sack the original. We can make copies of Thrillseeker so that we can start piling up extra backup counters and just win the game through direct damage that way. We can make copies of Saheeli, which we can then use to make more copies of more Saheelis or more things. Or we just make copies of Hidetsugu and Kairi and win through a whole bunch of stacked up death triggers because we have a bunch of copies. So there's a ton of ways to use the Apprentice's Folly if the board state's in just the right state to abuse it, which is why I think just 1 copy that we can search up with Beseech the Mirror is super, super good, because in the right situation, being able to grab it can make us just win a game outright when otherwise we might be struggling. So one Apprentice's Folly I think is pretty sick in this deck, and I think that's pretty much everything. Having a total of 5 tutors between the 2 Cruelty of Gix and the 3 Beseech the Mirror is what really puts the deck over the top and helps you be able to consistently get to whichever combo you're closest to in any given situation, which is really powerful. So this is the deck. We did the damn thing. It was a sweet idea FOOZi came up with, so hats off to FOOZi. Let's check out the games. Sheoldred, Rafine, and Sunfall are the problems. I'll keep this. Alright, start with the lounge. Hoping to draw a 2-drop. Alright, he just steals whatever he wants. Probably the Thrillseeker, since technically the Thrillseeker can kill the bat. Although Forge into Mirror is pretty good. So it's definitely a hard decision. List is feeling pretty good actually. I'm digging it. I am digging it. Force him to have to deal with the Thrillseeker here. Otherwise, we swing for 3, sack the Thrillseeker, kill the bat, get back the Forge, play the Forge. Next turn, we can use the Forge with Beseech the Mirror. I see it all coming together, guys. I see it all coming together. I lied. It didn't come together, guys. Nothing came together. But we can at least jam Sheoldred here. Honestly, next turn we can Cruelty of Gix. Actually, yeah, we still got this. Because of Cruelty. Oh, this is going to be fun. We're going to totally set ourselves up here. Cruelty of Gix. Chapter 1. Let's get a look at that hand. Sheoldred, Emperor. Sheoldred is unfortunate. I think that's the worst card. If he doesn't get to play the Sheoldred this turn, then we just got him, right? Chapter 2 finds the Ancient One, and we play the Ob Nix from our hand, and we've got the combo. So he has to play Sheoldred. And I don't think he can. I think that's it. I think that's it, guys. Can't cut it down because it's an 8/8. It is possible that last card is an instant piece of removal, but I feel like if it was, he would have used it on the Sheoldred already before we drew and gained life. Yeah, Gix is huge in this deck because it comes out on turn 5 and perfectly sets us up. If we don't have Ob, we find Ob. If we don't have Ancient One, we find Ancient One. Chances are we'll have one of them, right?
I
So yeah, Gix is pretty awesome. And we combo out. Welcome to Earth.
Good help is so hard.
That's what I call a close encounter. Alright. Did the damn thing. Let's see. This looks good. We can keep this. The question is, do we play Epicure on 1? Don't think we can. I think we need to get down the lounge. Oh, maybe we don't need to get down the lounge now. Well, that would be our only red source on 1 anyway, right? So I guess we gotta. It would have been nice to find a way to play the Epicure on 1, but it's not super necessary. If we have something to kill with Virtue on 2, we'll play that, and if not, we'll play the Epicure on 2. Alright, works for me. He must be holding up removal. I mean, 2 Ob Nixilises against mono red, we probably got this. We're going to want to dump the Singularity to the blood token to dig deeper, I think. No blocks. Oh my god, 3 Ob Nixilises? Do we Virtue or do we Ob? I think it's better to Virtue. Maybe. Yeah. We'll gain 2. The only reason I'm swinging with the Epicure here isn't to actually try to be aggressive, it's to make it less of a threat. So there's less of a chance our opponent hits it with removal, because we want to sack it to the Ob Nixilis. Alright, we're going to do this. It's probably playing burn, which means it's probably 12 points of burn in his hand right now, if I had to guess. Alright, we'll gain some life back, make a chump blocker. Next turn we can play Hidetsugu and Kairi. Come on, Sleepy. No blocks. Could be 16 points of direct damage in his hand.
No one beats me and survives.
Hello. Hullabaloo.
My revenge.
Another
Cruel
Hidetsugu and Kairi. I mean, I'll take it. If it's an instant or a sorcery, you may cast it. more so trying to order this in a way that makes the most sense for what we're trying to do next turn, not necessarily to get value off the ping from Hidetsugu and Kairi dying. I think we want to leave open the option of playing both Thrillseeker and Adversary. And if he does kill Hidetsugu, his next opportunity, which is now, we want to lose the extra copy of Ob Nixilis rather than something that we actually want to play. Even though we do still kind of want to play both copies of Ob Nixilis, the second copy gets a little more redundant, more so than any other card in our hand. But we also want to leave open the option of playing another Hidetsugu and Kairi if this one dies. I mean, he can't kill us, right? No blocks. I think we got him. It really depends if he's got an answer to Hidetsugu and Kairi at instant speed. I mean, he probably does. He's playing Burn with Ojeric Zonal, right? Oh, he's gonna kill it in response? Alright. I mean, sure. We'll do this. Thank you for the follow. El Chupin Bray. We'll sack this. Ping for another one. Make a copy. We're gonna make a boy.
You work for me now.
And uptick. As long as we can make the token survive, we're pretty happy because we have the other Ob Nixilis. So if he swings at the token, we can just block with one creature and keep it alive, one loyalty, even through the trample. If he swings at the one loyalty one, we can just let it die. Because we're just going to cast another one, potentially.
Defy me, and you'll lose everything. Pleasure doing business with you.
And we got him. Good game. We beat the burn deck with a whole bunch of Ob Nixilises.
Or die. Shake down the lows. Go ahead. Plead for me.
We will keep this, I guess. The mana's too good to put back, but we have nothing to play on turn 2 and 3, which kind of sucks. Alright, we have to lead with all of our fast lands. Otherwise, one of them's coming into play tapped. And we don't want that. Honestly, I'd rather save the lounge to cycle at this point. At least we know these can come into play untapped. That's unfortunate. I think we just have to stall the game, unfortunately. Which means we have to waste our combo piece. That feels bad.
Go sow some chaos.
He gives the Rot Priest unblockability from red. Unblockability from red? We need a more elegant way to say that. You can give it hexproof from red at instant speed. That's fine. I'm just gonna kill your Strove. Bro?
My revenge will be cruel and painful.
And I did what I was supposed to do. I held you off a turn. Hey, we drew another one. That feels nice. We'll play Sheoldred. Give us a blocker. The life gain isn't gonna matter too much because our opponent's on poison. But we should at least be able to get them to hesitate swinging. Probably uses Skrelv to sneak through something. Ow. Why didn't he just do that to a Might, though? Why attack with the Rot Priest? Seems strange. We're gonna fetch our combo piece the old-fashioned way. We're not even gonna bargain. Who needs to bargain? Not I. No attacks. We'll hold back a blocker one more time. And then we'll kill him with the combo in one turn. Ancient One into Ob Nixilis with a Sheoldred on the field. Goodbye. The audacity. The absolute audacity. Oh, we might be dead here to poison. 1, 2. Very close. It's very, very close. He gets us to 9 poison counters if he swings with all 3 mites. At least we know he doesn't have a proliferate spell in hand that he can play because he has no colored mana for anything outside of Phyrexians. So I think we got him. At 9 poison, I think we got him. Come on, baby. Show me the good stuff.
I'm gonna remake this.
You lose, big guy.
This is my
Man, good game.
own, and you will take.
At 9 poison counters. I'll drink to that. Was a good game, wasn't it? We'll keep this. We're gonna start with a Stormcarved Coast. We'll go Darkslick Shores on 2 and a Saheeli. Because I said so. Alright, Stormcarved Coast. We're gonna go Thrillseeker. Swing 4. Now things are gonna get really fun. Unless he kills Saheeli. Which, I mean, he might. Oh god, that's a lot of things. That's a lot of things. Do that. Swing and swing. We're gonna sack it anyway. Kill Lorekeeper, so we'll just do that. Just getting a free 2 counters every single turn off of this combo is really good. He's got Natali. That kind of sucks. He hit our ancient one, which is going to be useless to him, and he hit a yearling. We are so close to doing so much. We don't even have to play anything. I'm just gonna pass the turn. Sure. They both have trample, right? I really want to kill the yearling. But I don't want to lose my Thrillseeker. I guess we just gotta do this. Go to 10. Shit's getting real, guys. Shit's getting really real. Alright, we absolutely have to play this. And we'll play out another chump blocker. And we'll hold up blocks. We just have to survive this turn. Hammerskull does not have trample. Hello? If we do this correctly, we win next turn. But we have to keep these 3 alive in order to do it. think that's possible. Unfortunately. Just not possible. That makes me sad. Because we could have made a copy of the Thrillseeker, put the backup on the Ancient one, and then just threw it at our opponent for 10. We would have just had to find a way of doing an extra 2 points of damage. We do have the Ob Nixilis combo. But I don't think it's enough. I mean, we'll see. If he lets it through, then we win. Ah! We caught him with his pants down, guys. We did it. We did it. Discard that card. Oh wait, he's at 8 still. We didn't do it. We got him to 1. Oh man. We were so close to a crazy combo win though. So close. Saheeli. Very underestimated card. Alright, we're gonna keep this. It's very weird. We can't play Ancient 1 on 2 because we have all of our slow lands once again. This goes to show, like I've been saying the entire time, you only get all of your slow lands bundled together in your opening hand, or all of your pain lands. You never get the right mix, ever. And it's fucking annoying. No blocks. Alright, we'll start with this to drag out the game because we have a second Ob Nixilis. We'll make a blocker. We'll gain some life. All is well. All is right in the world. That sounds wonderful, Avalan. No blocks. Don't care.
How dare you destroy what I built?
Sure. Use all of your removal on my one card.
You're some big hero.
Shouldn't be a problem. We're just gonna do this. Oh, it's non-token. That's so lame. That is so fucking lame. I can't believe I just wasted that. My thought was just, okay, we'll make extra 1/1s, because next turn we have 5 mana. And the Ancient one and the Ob Nix. I don't need to play one of them this turn, because I could just play them both next turn. So it would have been a waste. But now playing the Apprentice's Folly was actually a waste. I mean, we could Beseech. 4, 5. Yeah, we'll just do this. We'll just do this. Since we're gonna lose the Apprentice's Folly anyway. We're just gonna do this. We're gonna grab a Shelly. He's got 1 card left in hand. And he does not have lethal by bringing back a Squee. Block here. I mean, okay. We don't get to do the one-hit kill, but I mean, we're still gonna win, I'm pretty sure. -2. Uptick. Now we have a blocker. We gain 2 life and go to 8. And we have 2 Ob Nixilises with high loyalty that he probably can't kill. I don't see how he can possibly win this game. We're going to gain another 2 life from Virtue next turn. And another 4 life from the Ob Nixilises. Well, maybe only 2. Depends what we do. Brings back the Squee. Gotta kill the Squee. Get out of here, Squee. We could find a Shelly. Thinking, ding dong. I mean, I think we'll just do this.
Go sow some chaos. Go. Plead for mercy.
Pass turn. I don't think there's any way he can catch up. Alright, we'll block and kill the Foundry. Needs 1 more card in the yard. An ancient one, eh? An ancient one.
You work for me now, Runt. My coin
Is close. Pass the turn. It's very close. If we can uptick this Ob, find a Shelly, next turn we can combo off. Theoretically. Right, 1 more to you. He's Tokens are obnoxious. Another ancient one. Well, we're gonna bargain this if we can find any way at all to gain life. That's probably gonna be our best bet. Shelly's not gonna do it. Kaito helps. Oh, we can just win. 10. Yeah, we can just win. Put him at 11 and then we hit him for 10. Oh, that's not enough. Right? It's not enough. Yeah, that's not enough.
Go sow some chaos. Go ahead. Plead for mercy.
Two blockers, 4 health. If he top decks burn, we're dead. Okay, we go to 1. We go to 1, and I think we got him. Nope, he's just not going to attack. So we'll go to 2. We'll gain back the health and kill him. He has to force us to get rid of the devil, right? Even then, I don't know if it matters. I don't know what he's thinking. He's got no cards in hand, right? He has to kill... He has to swing everything at that Ob Nixilis. But then he's got no blockers and he dies to our creatures. Dude. Wild. We're gonna do it like that. Because then we get to ping the blocker. And then we get to win the old-fashioned way. Uptick. You deserve it. We will keep this. I like being under arrest. It's so much better than being over arrest. Trust me. Avalon! Look at that explosive singularity. Better to play this one because this can be cycled, right? Pass turn, and we'll cycle, then we'll Kaito. Get over it, under it, over it. Gonna take my Kaito, and then we're gonna cycle the lounge and find some removal and get it back. I mean, obviously you take the Kaito, right? Hello. Do you remember when people played Magic? Do you remember when that was a thing? I remember. Wait, we're using the ancient one. The fairway? Yes. Yes, we are. Welcome to 8-8. You better have removal. We can just Virtue to get back our Kaito if we want, so that's cool. The Apprentice's Folly. Give me that. And you. Get out of here. Get out of here. We don't need you. Straight out of Brew York. Hello, Glissa. Glissa, if that is your real name. There will be
I'm here to help.
none of that.
Too slow.
None of it. And now your Dread Knight is gone forever. How do you feel, Diddy? Blossoming Tortoise. That's fine. 0 fucks were given. 0. Ooh. He probably doesn't kill Hidetsugu, right? We're gonna do Explosive Singularity second. Do we make it so that one can't attack or block, or do we make a drone? I guess doing this is probably better, right?
That should be enough of a distraction.
Mosswood Dread Knight. Sure. Alright, we just need a way to kill our Hidetsugu and Kairi. Maybe we bring back a Hidetsugu and Kairi? Is that how we kill it? I think that's how we kill it. Alright, here we go. You guys ready? Cruelty of Gix. Chapter 3. Really? Really? Thank you. Hello. What happened? I don't understand. I mean, we win, but we didn't get to cast it? Is it because our fuse ran out? didn't let us cast it because the fuse ran out. The most non-game of Magic I've ever non-gamed in the history of non-game Magic. Thanks so much for checking out my channel. I'd like to give a huge shout out to all of my patrons over at Patreon. Without you guys, this channel would not be possible, so honestly, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your contributions. If you haven't yet, like and subscribe. The more likes we get and the quicker we get them, the bigger this channel will grow and the faster it will grow. I'd love nothing more than this channel to become something very special for you guys, but it's entirely up to you how fast that happens. Also, if you'd like more deck text, that's somewhere over there. And if you'd like to see what else the channel's been up to lately, that's somewhere up that way. Also, subscribe, circle below, do all the things.